Welcome into Bengals Breakdown. I am your host, Stone Shields. NFL football is officially back. We had a little Thursday night football action tonight, so that's certainly exciting. And on today's show, we're going to be taking a look at the depth chart that the Bengals put out ahead of their Week 1 opener against the New England Patriots. An old disclaimer, if you see me looking down, just bear with me. Solo producing this edition of Bengals Breakdown, so trying to do multiple things here at once. But basically, the Bengals put out their depth chart for Week 1 against the Patriots. And I think some questions perhaps maybe have been answered because this depth chart is now out. But you also have to understand that this isn't gospel, right? I think a lot of situations, these aren't 100% accurate. So there are some interesting takeaways to certainly gather from this depth chart coming out. But, again, don't take anything too seriously, but we will run that down for you on today's show. And, of course, Bengals kicking off their 2024 season at home Sunday at 1 o'clock against the New England Patriots. Before we dive into our episode fully here at Bengals Breakdown, I want to remind you guys that we are in a September-like battle against our Ravens channel. We succeeded and beat them in our August-like battle, and we're going to run it back here. Old Joey Peterson over there at the Ravens Rundown. We're going to run it back and see if we can't win 2 months in a row here. So help us out. Hit that like button, as you should, for every one of our videos that you guys watch. All right, first takeaway for me was that Drew Sample is listed as tight end 1. Look, is he the most skilled guy when it comes to catching the football from the tight end room on the Bengals? Absolutely not. That, of course, is Mike Gesicki. But I think this could mean that he's going to be a staple out there when the Bengals are in 11 personnel with one running back and 1 tight end. So that certainly was an interesting takeaway for me, seeing that Drew Sample popped up as their tight end 1. Of course, he has got a new deal with the Bengals that'll keep him in town for a couple of years. So I think the Bengals really like what he can do in the run game. He's proven that he is a really good run-blocking tight end. And Gesicki, you might just, he's kind of like a slot receiver, right? He's got really great ball skills, but maybe in the blocking game, they don't feel necessarily as great about Gesicki as they do about Sample. But that really was the biggest thing that stood out to me at as far as their entirety of the depth chart that the Bengals released when you're taking a look at it. Was surprised to see Sample in that position, but it'll be interesting to see how the snaps are split up, or if perhaps both of those guys find themselves on the field at the same time with one another. So that leads us to the pinned comment of today's show. Who do you think is going to get more snaps on Sunday? Do you think it's going to be Drew Sample, or do you think it is going to be Mike Gesicki? Sound off for us in the comment section of today's video. It is the pinned comment, so if that ad comes here on YouTube, that's totally fine. Take advantage of it. Get down in the comments section and let us know what you think. Who will have more snaps, Sample or Gesicki, on Sunday against the Patriots? Second big takeaway that I got, Andrei Iosivias is listed as wide receiver 3 for the Bengals. I think this was very much expected, but also it's very noteworthy that he had such a good training camp and really was able to take the bull by the horns and win this job, because we talked all offseason long that there really was a lot of competition for that wide receiver 3 spot. It was very much up in the air, and there were several guys that had an opportunity to go win that battle for Cincinnati, and it ends up being Iosivias, who I'm very pleased is wide receiver 3 for the Bengals. I think he's definitely the most mature guy that's ready to go out there with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and play a lot of meaningful snaps with Joe Burrow. And I was excited to see that designation on the Bengals depth chart. Here's their wide receiver room, what it looks like. Obviously, Chase and Higgins are your 2 main guys. And I think all 6 of these guys on this list are going to play to some extent. Maybe not so much Burton early on, but obviously Trenton Irwin is a very sure-handed guy. The Bengals really love what they have in him. And I think Charlie Jones obviously was able to avoid serious injury when he banged knees during training camp. I think the Bengals are really excited about him. Obviously, he can do a lot of things in the return game, which we'll get to a little bit later. But I also think he could be a viable target for Joe Burrow in the passing game as well. Another takeaway that I had, Zack Moss is listed as running back 1 for Cincinnati. It's going to be very much by committee. I came on here and said I thought Chase Brown would kind of get that nod. I still wouldn't be shocked if he was the first guy to run out on the field Sunday for the Bengals. But according to this depth chart, it is Zack Moss. Zach Taylor has said that there are plays on the call sheet designed specifically for either Chase Brown or Zack Moss. So we're going to see plenty of both of them. We'll see what the split looks like, if it is very much 50-50 or if somebody gets a little bit more touches than the other. Trayveon Williams is going to be that third running back for Cincinnati. And, of course, he went through some roster gymnastics there where he got released so McKinley Jackson could be placed on IR. But I think Trayveon Williams is a good back to have in your room. He's pretty trustworthy in terms of holding on to the football and can be a factor in the return game as well. So really solid. I think underrated running back room that the Bengals have in 2024. Next biggest takeaway here, Dax Hill was listed as the backup nickel behind Mike Hilton. So what's that mean? If something happens to Hilton, Dax Hill is going to come from the outside and move to the inside, back up Hilton in the slot, and then DJ Turner will take over that cornerback 2 spot opposite Cam Taylor-Britt. So the versatility that Dax Hill has, I think the Bengals have been really pleased with it. Of course, he's going through that transition from safety to playing the cornerback spot for Cincinnati this year. And I think a lot of people consider DJ Turner to be the favorite to win that battle, but the Bengals are making it clear that Dax Hill is cornerback 2 for them. And I'm really excited about it. I thought he looked really, really good in the preseason, and I thought he looked really, the clips that you saw of training camp, him flying around, making plays, and just, his ball skills are great, and he looks really big out there as a corner as well. So I'm really excited to see what Dax Hill does. Of course, former first-round pick for the Bengals. Lots of expectations with him. We'll continue to break down the depth chart here in a moment, but first, I want to give a shout-out to our friends over at Game Time because today's show is presented by Game Time. And Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Game Time Picks is the easiest way to find and buy tickets to live events. Look, I get Reds tickets all the time with Game Time. It's incredibly straightforward, and I get my tickets immediately with no stress. And you can also get ready for football season, which of course is here, and get tickets to watch the Cincinnati Bengals at Paycor Stadium. My 2 favorite features on Game Time. First up is the all-in pricing. Toggling this feature allows you to see your total up front without any surprise fees at checkout. And also the seat views. You get a panoramic view from your seat in the app before you buy. So it's really incredible to take advantage of that. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? It's game time. All right, 5th takeaway here, taking a look at the Bengals depth chart, is what they got kind of going in the return room. They've got several guys listed here that are going to be viable assets in that room for Cincinnati. The guy I'm the most excited about is definitely Charlie Jones. I think he's going to go out there and really make a splash as a returner. Here's what the room looks like as far as the depth chart goes. They've got Chase Brown listed as they are number 1 kick returner. So we'll see. I kind of was, part of me hoped that Charlie Jones could just do the punt returning and the kick returning after especially that great return he had in the preseason finale kind of showed that he was back to full health. So that was really exciting. But the Bengals have a lot of belief in a lot of guys that can go out there and do that. I think Trenton Irwin's also another guy that he's just such a sure-handed guy, and that's what you want in a returner, right? You just want somebody that can go back there and is going to hang on to the football. To me, that's the most important part of being a returner. So pick a kick returner for me in the comments section of today's show. An opportunity for you guys to get interactive with Bengals breakdown today. You see it there on your screen. Which guy would you like to be the kick returner for Cincinnati? Again, it looks like Chase Brown is going to be that first guy for the Bengals. We'll see if Charlie Jones gets any action as a kick returner going forward. He's going to be the punt returner, but I think a lot of people would like to see him perhaps get an opportunity there as well. So pick one of those 4. Also threw Jermaine Burton into the mix Sound off for us in the comments of today's video. All right, we'll kind of go through the rest of this relatively quickly. Look, Joe Burrow, Jake Browning, there's not really much other to say about that quarterback room, right? Logan Woodside, of course, is on the practice squad for the Bengals, and I thought maybe they would look to add elsewhere, but they stick with Woodside on the practice squad. But two quarterbacks, of course, on the roster, Burrow and Browning. Offensive line depth chart. Nothing really surprising here. Again, Trent Brown is going to be your starter on Sunday for the Bengals. I'm still going out there saying that if Amarius Mims wouldn't have strained that pec, he would be out there. People get upset at me when I say that, but I think the Bengals were really looking forward to him being their guy week one. He is definitely the future at the position for Cincinnati, but he's going to start off back in a backup role behind Trent Brown. That's really the only notable thing here. Everything else was kind of set in stone and expected. Before we continue, I want to remind you guys to subscribe to our channel if you have not done so already. We will have a watch party for you guys coming up on Sunday. We will be live at noon when getting ready for the Bengals to take on the New England Patriots. Our first watch party of the regular season. Did three in the preseason, which was a good time, but regular season ball is a whole different animal. So really excited about that. Hit that sub button if you haven't already. YouTube.com/Bengals TV. All right, defensive end. Hubbard and Hendrickson, obviously. Really no surprises here. Bengals, of course, do bring in KJ Henry, sign him off waivers to kind of help them at the back end of that room. We'll see if he gets any playing time. Really liked what we saw from Cedric Johnson in the preseason, Bengals 6th-round pick out of Ole Miss. Have a lot of high hopes for him that he's going to be able to have an impact for this team. And, of course, Myles Murphy starting the season on short-term IR, so we will not see him for at least the first 4 weeks. Moving towards the interior of the defensive line. Again, this is the group that I am the most worried about. Was a little optimistic there at first that McKinley Jackson was going to be able to go for week one, but, with the roster gymnastics with Trayveon Williams, he ends up not being able to go. He also will miss the first 4 weeks. So that room, a lot of pressure on that room. Hopefully Sheldon Rankins can really make a splash there, who, of course, is getting paid a lot of money. Bengals brought him in the offseason. And, that room needs to perform well if Cincinnati is going to have success this season. Linebacker-wise, not really any surprises here. Wilson and Pratt, those are your two guys, obviously. It'll be interesting to see if John Meta gets in at all, what his role will look like on special teams for Cincinnati. But I think that I really have a lot of confidence in that room, especially Logan Wilson and Jermaine Pratt. I think both those guys are going to have big years. And lastly, to the safety spot for the Bengals. Again, towards the end of the show here, not really a ton of surprises. Geno Stone and Von Bell are your two guys. There was talk at the beginning of camp that Jordan Battle could potentially challenge Von Bell for that starting spot. That wasn't going to happen. That is Von Bell's position for this year. I think the Bengals still have a really solid player in Jordan Battle, and I'm excited for the future when Battle is a main guy for them defensively. But those two starters, Geno Stone and Von Bell, it's going to remind you a little bit of the days of Von Bell and Jesse Bates, just in terms of how that room is really going to go out there and perform well. So I'm really excited about what the safeties are going to be able to do this year. So there you have it. That is your Bengals depth chart for week one against the Patriots.